Welcome to your final training video for the Legal Services of Alabama HMIS training. So in this last video, I'm just going to show you how to close out all of your service transactions, answer any remaining follow-ups, close your case plan, create the program exit, and then remove yourself as the case manager from the client's record. So first thing we want to do, as always, is to select our Enter Data As mode. We're going to select the homeless prevention provider by clicking on the green plus sign. And then we're just going to go ahead and go straight to our client's service transactions page. Alright, and then we will click on Service Transactions at the top. And then we'll click on View Entire Service History so we can see all of the service transactions that have been provided for the client throughout the time in the LSA program. So what we're looking at now, we're looking at the Need Status and Outcome column. So throughout the client's time in the LSA program, you'll be creating services and referrals and needs, and you want to be able to close those needs and services once they have been completed. Just like down here how we closed and answered that the need was fully met. Now that we are exiting the client from the program, we just want to leave all of these things nice and clean and tidy that we've closed them out. So we'll just click on the need and the edit pencil next to the need. So this is for the utility assistance. It is still set to identified and service pending. So we will go ahead and close this need out. And then when you are working with your client, you will just select the appropriate outcome. So, whatever happened with this utility assistance need, was it fully met? Was it not met? Was a client unavailable for follow-up? So whatever is applicable for you and your client's situation at the time of service. So I'm going to go ahead and say that it was fully met and save and exit. Then I'm going to click back on the entire service history tab just so I can see everything. That's just the easier view for me personally. You can always just filter it down to just the needs. You can work with it that way as well. You would just click on the edit pencil next to the need that has not been closed out and it'll open it up for you. So this is for banking and financial services. So we'll go ahead and set the need status as closed, and then the outcome of need, again, to whatever occurred. So if I say that this particular need was not met, then I want to select the reason for why. So again, you'll just select whatever is applicable in your situation. So I'm going to say that for some reason the client was not eligible for this need, and then click Save and Exit. And you have the option to add notes to any of these needs as well. So if I want to close the COVID-19 diagnostic test, if I need to, I can add in any notes pertaining to this need right here. I'm going to go ahead and close it out and say that the need was fully met and save and exit. Alright, now I'm just going to go back to the entire service history view. And we can see that all of our service transactions are closed with some kind of an outcome. So that looks good. Now we're going to go back to our home page. And we're going to look at the follow-up list. So we've got two follow-ups for this particular client. We've got a follow-up regarding a referral and a follow-up regarding a service. So you've got two hyperlinks here. You can either click on the client's ID and it'll take you to their client profile page, or you can click on the type hyperlink and it will take you directly to that follow-up. So that's what I suggest doing. So I'm going to click on this referral hyperlink. And at this point, I would review if there were any notes here entered, I would review those. And I'd just review the rest of the referral information. So I can see here that this client was referred for eviction prevention legal assistance. All right, so I want to say that yes, I have made the follow-up and then the date that the follow-up was completed. So I'm just going to select today's date. It all depends on when you actually go and complete the follow-up. But that is how you answer a follow-up. You'll just say follow-up made equals yes, and then you'll populate for the date for when it was completed and save and exit. All right, now I'm going to go back to my homepage dashboard. So that follow-up has disappeared, it's been answered, and now I'm going to answer the service follow-up. So I'm going to click on the service hyperlink, and it is taking me to the banking and financial services service. So any notes pertaining to this follow-up I could add right here. And then I'm going to scroll down to the follow-up. We'll say the follow-up has been made, populate the date that we completed the follow-up for this service, and save and exit. Alrighty, so that does it for all of my follow-ups. So they have disappeared now. Now I'm going to go double check the case plan. So I'm going to go into the client's record. And we're in the client information section, so we'll scroll over here and click on case plan. Alrighty, so in reality, when you're working with your client and completing their case plan and adding to their case plan, adding case notes and stuff, you'll want to keep track of when the case plan and when the goal has been met. And at the time that the goal has been met, then you would come back and close out the entire case plan. So at that point, you would just set the overall status to closed. And then if closed, you want to select the outcome. So this goal description was case manager will assist client with obtaining permanent housing. So we'll say that this goal has been achieved, and it was achieved on the 11th. And so if you've got an option to select if the goal was partially complete, the percentage that it was completed, you can select that as well if it was partially achieved. We're going to say it's achieved 100%. And then the next thing you want to do is just close out these action steps. So click on the edit pencil and we'll close these out. We'll say that it was achieved on whatever date, save action step. And then same with the next one, close it out. Say it was achieved on the 9th. Save action step. Alright, so all the services have been closed, all the action steps have been closed, and the overall case plan is now closed, so we will select save and exit. There we go. So the status is closed, and then you can go back in and print it and sign it and put it in your case file. Alrighty, so the next thing that we're going to do to close out your client's record in HMIS is add the program exit. So from here, we're going to go to the Entry Exit tab, and we're going to find the open enrollment that we have been using. So it's our homeless prevention program. So this is the entry, and this is the exit that we're about to create. So we need to click on this edit pencil that says Edit Exit. You want to select the whole family because we're exiting the whole family from the program. And then the exit date, we can leave it as today's date, but you want to set the time to 5:00 p.m. And the reason it's 5:00 p.m. is the same reason that we create our entries at 8:00 a.m. It's so we know everybody is exiting their clients at 5:00 p.m. and we can set our report parameters around that time and make sure we don't miss any data. Alright, so this next drop-down menu, you're going to select why the client is leaving the program. You've got a bunch of different options you can choose from. I'm going to select they completed the program. And then the destination, this is a universal data element as well as the exit date. That's why they're bolded like this. So this destination field is required, and HUD looks at this field to see the outcome of your program. So how you helped your client, and they look at that first initial living situation to where the client ended up when they exited your program. So positive outcome, positive exit destinations are always good. Of course, you want to select the option that best reflects the reality of the client's living situation when they exit your program. So our client, we're going to select that they are now in their own rental and they have no other ongoing housing subsidy. So this is going to be a positive housing destination. This is what we're going for. And then in the notes section, you can just put a brief description of the client's exit information. All right, so a thing as simple as client was able to obtain permanent housing with the assistance of the LSA HP program, and then your initials and date. Then you'll click Save and Continue. And what we're looking at now is the full exit assessment. So at this point, we are going to update any information that may have changed since the last interim update. So before we complete this assessment, there has been, for some reason, there's a visibility issue. So if you are working through your data tasks and you notice that a lot of these fields are blank when you know they should be completed because you completed them in the entry assessment, and these fields are supposed to pull forward. So like this, a lot of these haven't been properly pulled forward. So I want to show you something that you can do on your end. I'm just going to come out of the exit assessment really quick. And then I'm going to leave Enter Data As mode. So to come out of the Enter Data As mode, just click on the hyperlink of the provider. So now I've removed the Enter Data As provider, and I'm just going to go back to my client so I can actually see the data. And that's just something in the training site that has been a little messy for some reason. But it should not be like that in the live site. You should always remain in your Enter Data As provider in the live site. But just for training purposes, so we can see the data, we're going to come out of Enter Data As mode. So while we're out of Enter Data As mode, we'll go back into the exit by clicking on this edit pencil right here. And save and continue. All right, so now we can see the data. And we just want to make sure that this provider up here says homeless prevention. And we will answer the data fields now that are still blank. So we want to look at this housing assessment at exit. So if the client was able to maintain the housing that they had at entry, what is the subsidy information? So you can leave this blank because they moved to a new housing unit, which is the next question that says, if moved to new housing unit, what is the subsidy information? With an ongoing subsidy or without an ongoing subsidy? So we're going to say without an ongoing subsidy. We'll say that our hypothetical client is no longer in need of financial assistance from our program or any other program. So without an ongoing subsidy is what we would choose. And then we just want to look at the rest of these data fields. If anything has updated, you would update it just like you would if it were an interim update assessment. So if at program exit you need to update the income one more time, you can do that. So if we were to do that, of course, you would update the total monthly income field. We'll say maybe they got an increase of $500. So we'll update the $1,000 to $1,500 right here. And then we'll open up our monthly income sub-assessment. And we'll say that, let's see, their SSDI got bumped up by $500 again. So we would deactivate this $1,000 source. We'll say that their $500 increase occurred today. So the end date would be yesterday's date. And then we'll add the new source for $1,500. Select the appropriate source. Receiving income source will be yes. And today's date is the start date because today is when the client said that they began receiving this $1,500. And then we'll leave the end date blank because this is an active source and click Save. So now if you click on source of income, you'll be able to see the changes over time for this SSDI source and the increase in income that they have been able to incur over the past couple of years. All right, so I just want to make sure again that this total monthly income data field matches whatever is in the HUD sub-assessment, which is $1,500. And we'll double check the rest. We'll say nothing else has changed, so we will click Save and Exit. And the client is officially exited from the Homeless Prevention Program. Now the final thing that you want to do is remove yourself as this client's case manager, so they're no longer in your caseload. So you're going to click on the Case Managers tab, find your name, click on the Edit pencil. Don't delete, because you want to, again, preserve the history that you worked with this client. So we're just going to click on the Edit pencil, and we're just going to add the end date for the day that you stop serving the client when they exit the program, which is today's date. And save Case Manager. So now when you go back to your home page and you click Refresh, your My Clients report now says 0. And that is the end of your training. Congratulations, and thank you for being trained.